Welcome back, everybody, to episode 10 of Flip the Odds. This is my favorite episode that, I've really been waiting for with this segment. This is my brother Z and my dad. You want to say a little bit?
What's up, guys? I'm Zach. People call me Z. And I'm the reigning fantasy football champion for our family league.
And then Dad.
My name is Michael, Ethan's father. I'm actually the champion in the fantasy league.
You haven't won yet.
I'm going to. Zach just got a beat down last week, so he's
Tough upset.
he's embarrassed right now.
Yeah.
But
What was your record?
11-3, too.
Yeah, I think 11-2, right? Z was 11-2 going into the playoffs. Matched up with my dad against my dad in week 1, and my dad slaughtered, to say the least. So, reigning champ is out in round 1, but I don't know. My dad has a pretty good team, so pretty impressive. I apologize for not posting any videos the past 2 weeks. I did have finals, but looking back on week 13, I had 10 wins on my predictions and 3 losses and a tie. So I count that as a loss as 4. And last week, I started this thing with our family where I put on a spreadsheet pretty much all of every game, and we just choose who we think is going to win. And my brother and I both went 13-3, so pretty good weeks. My dad broke 500, so it was pretty good as well. My all-time prediction record is 92 wins and 60 losses now. And yeah, so as for locks last time, I went 3-0. And if you include the extra 4 that we put in the episode with Matt, I was 7-0. So it makes our all-time 27-13 as far as locks. So for our predictions this week, we're going to go my dad first, and we're going to just go down this way. We're going to start with our locks. So do you have any locks that you think?
I do actually. 10-star lock. Las Vegas over Pittsburgh. And Tennessee over, what's the team they're playing with? Houston.
Yeah.
Houston at Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with Tennessee against Houston. I don't think Houston's a good team at all. They've been putting up good fights against, I think, the Cowboys and the Chiefs, but I don't see how they could really win a game. I also think Detroit beats Carolina in Carolina. Not so heavy favorites. I thought they'd be more heavy favorites. And then Buffalo's beating Chicago at minus 450. I think it's pretty solid. So.
Yeah, I also agree with the Buffalo pick. I have them as one of mine. They've been doing really well for most of the season, and I think they continue it here. And then I also liked Kansas City and Seattle over 48.5 points. And I think that both are pretty good offenses, Kansas City being one of the best in the league, if not the best, and both with pretty mediocre defenses at best.
Perfect. And then, my dad kind of covered one. One of his locks was an upset. I don't know if you saw that, but Pittsburgh is, I guess, favorite against the Raiders.
Right.
So, do you have any upsets besides that?
I do. It's the Carolina game.
Against Detroit?
No. Detroit's. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think that's gonna be an upset.
Really? So,
yeah.
We've been talking about how we think Detroit's a very hot team right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are in the hunt now for the playoffs. A couple things need to happen, but you think they lose to Carolina?
I think so. They have a hard time with Carolina.
Okay. I like Detroit, so I don't think they'll lose. I don't think Carolina has very many weapons right now that could stop a very strong Detroit offense. Or Carolina's offense is pretty weak in my opinion, but then again, Detroit's defense is extra weak.
Yeah, Detroit is not that great on the road at the same time too. So
True. Is that it for upsets?
That's it.
And then, so for upsets, I actually have the Raiders beating Pittsburgh. So kind of flipped on my dad. He has an upset going against my lock, and I have an upset going against his. Oh, wait, no. You didn't take...
He took Vegas, too.
Yeah,
Vegas. So that one's together. And then for some reason, I don't understand why the Jags are plus 104 underdogs under the Jets, especially considering we don't know if Mike White's playing or if Zach Wilson's playing. But the Jaguars are coming off a huge game, beating the Cowboys. I don't think anybody really wanted that or expected that. But that was impressive, and I think they'll blow Mike White or Zach Wilson out of the water.
And my upset is Vegas at Pittsburgh as well. I think Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams are just going to have field days on this defense, and they're not going to be able to stop them.
Perfect. And now hopping into our topics, I want to do one quick segment real quick. Overrated, properly rated, or underrated. I'm just going to say a name of a player or a team, and I want all three of us are going to say our opinions, whether or not they're overrated right now, properly rated, or underrated. I think this week a lot of the narrative was shifted towards QBs and coaches, so that's what I want to focus on this week, and the first one's going to be Brock Purdy.
I think he's properly rated.
I think right now he's a little overrated. Personally, I think Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers run a very good system. I'll explain more about it later, but I think he's a little overrated.
I think he's properly rated.
I want to start with Dad on this one. Russell Wilson.
Jesus. Overrated. Big time.
Yeah.
Overrated.
Hurts me to say, but I think he's a little overrated right now.
But he did well in that last game against Kansas City before getting hurt.
Yeah. I mean, he did very well. That was his best game the whole season.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, the one that he got injured when he was trying to run into the end zone?
Yeah.
He's back this week.
Oh, is he really?
They just announced it today, yeah. He was
Really
cleared. Denver is playing... Let's see, I forgot. I also will make my full predictions later on, but Denver is... the Rams, yeah. In LA, so I think that's a good chance to win that one.
But Wilson's playing, so that was...
Yeah, that's...
He's going to be hot this week, though.
Baker Mayfield's pretty good,
He's
so...
coming back. He didn't look good in the last game.
That's true. He looked good in the first one.
Yeah.
Next, Tua.
I want to say overrated.
I think overrated as well.
I agree, overrated.
Yeah. Got a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, properly rated or maybe overrated.
Okay. I think overrated.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he's underrated.
Really?
Oh, big time.
Everybody expected so much because of how good they thought he was this year.
I expected a lot
with
Devontae coming, and he just
because you have Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams.
He's been decent, but
Darren Waller.
Nothing huge.
No, I think it's a coaching issue there.
Deshaun Watson.
Overrated.
Overrated as well. But then again, he's coming off a whole span of time without practicing, right?
Yeah. 3 weeks, though, and he hasn't looked... I mean, I guess he looked good in his second game, but this past game against the Ravens, he didn't look great again. Yeah.
Overrated.
Agreed. And then the last 4 quarterbacks, someone we just talked on, Baker Mayfield.
I have to say overrated just because of that one performance with... against who is it?
The upset, right?
Yeah, it was that game-winning touchdown.
With the Packers?
No.
The Packers was this week, right?
Yeah,
it was
the week before.
Yeah, I forget.
The Raiders.
Yeah, I guess the Raiders. He had one good week, and everyone forgets about how he struggled in Carolina too.
Yeah, and Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think I've always been pretty high on the guy, even when he was on Cleveland. I thought he was solid, just makes really bad decisions. So I think he's a little underrated, but with recency bias, I would say overrated. But as a whole, as a quarterback as a whole, I'd say he's underrated.
Oh, no, I think he's overrated, especially... he was only good for the last 5 minutes of the game.
That's true. But that last 5 minutes is very important,
No, I get it, but he's not going to be able to, repeat that.
Yeah, as we saw against the Packers.
True. That was a pretty weird showing from him against the Packers. But then I have 3 coaches, because I do want to talk on a lot of teams and coaches today. Pete Carroll.
I'd say properly rated. I think he started off hot and then kind of cooled off a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say properly rated as well. He gets a lot of heat for that one call in the Super Bowl, but I think overall he's a good coach.
I think he's underrated.
Really?
Oh, for sure. He's a great coach. Yeah. And his system over there is what makes the team. Look at Wilson when he left the system.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
Right?
Geno Smith is...
It's the system, really so that's why he's a really good coach.
That's a good point, actually. I never thought of that. Sorry. I have I wouldn't say a hot take on this one, but Nick Sirianni.
I think he's a good coach. I think he's probably underrated.
Underrated? Okay, I actually agree. I think he's underrated. In my opinion, Jalen Hurts gets a lot of the shine.
Yeah.
But he does make really good in the moment RPO decisions, but I think a lot of it stems from Nick Sirianni's playbook.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I agree. Underrated.
Okay. Last one, Kyle Shanahan.
Wait, one more point on Nick Sirianni. I think there's a reason why people are beginning to call Jalen Hurts like a system QB.
Yeah.
And it's because of the system that Sirianni put in.
Right.
And I guess we'll see this weekend without Jalen Hurts how that goes.
And then Kyle Shanahan.
Shanahan, I think he's underrated. I think he's a good coach.
Okay. I think he's underrated as well. And we're seeing that now with him going through 3 quarterbacks and still winning.
Yep.
I agree. Underrated. It seems like the 3 coaches that we have here, they all have a great system. It's not just on the quarterback. You know what I mean? So
that's why I wanted to point them out. I think I want to talk a little bit about them later individually. But first, I want to put my picks for this week. I have the Jags beating the Jets, the Bengals beating the Patriots, the Bills beating the Bears. What do you think? Saints or Browns?
Browns. I hope Deshaun can step it up a little bit.
I thought the Saints, but okay, we'll go. I like the Browns there. I think. Do we know if Lamar's back?
I don't think he's playing.
No. I don't want to take anyone on this Atlanta-Baltimore game. That's pretty boring. But we're going to go with Atlanta, Minnesota over the Giants, Detroit over Carolina, Kansas City over Seattle, Tennessee over Houston, the Niners over the Commanders, the Eagles over the Cowboys, even with Gardner Minshew. Raiders beat the Steelers, Broncos beat the Rams, Dolphins beat the Packers. I think the Buccaneers actually beat the Cardinals, and the Chargers beat the Colts. And then I'll put theirs up as well because we have the spreadsheet now. But hopping into last week's very, very weird games that I want to talk about. The Vikings and the Colts was the first game that we really saw was really interesting. I don't know if you watched. Dad and I were reacting crazily to that because I was walking around the mall wearing my Pittman jersey, and everybody's like, wow, you guys are up so much. Like, good game today, huh? I was like, yeah, the defense is really stepping up. We're playing really well today. And I come home, and we're losing. Or we're about to lose. We saw that last drive, right? So what are your reactions to that? Pretty much witnessing history for Dad, and then if you feel out any room.
Yeah, I didn't catch most of the game. I think I caught the tail end of it. And I think it was just crazy how they were able to come back from down so much. Kirk was doing really well, and then Jefferson, who I think is a top wide receiver, he was just going crazy.
I feel bad for the coach. I do.
Saturday?
Yeah, Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, Jeff Saturday. I mean, I know he doesn't have the experience, and, the team is trying to play for him, and he did okay, I mean, the last few weeks. But to lose that lead, man, I think he just benched the quarterback this week.
Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got benched again.
Right?
They're starting Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick Foles is good. I thought it was someone else, but I like that.
Ellinger?
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm
did you guys
not
see
high
the Jeff Saturday's like a former player, right?
Yeah.
So do you guys see Pat McAfee or whatever, the Colts punter or a former punter? He said like this past upset will affect former players' chances of being like head coaches without like starting from the bottom of the totem pole.
Really?
Yeah, just because of this, because it's it's pretty unprecedented for a player to go to coach just like that.
Yeah, he came from nowhere, but
right.
I don't know. I could understand it.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I had a follow-up question. Do you think it's more on Kirk and the offense going insane and really fixing up their stuff at halftime, or the Colts just got too tired and they were throwing their own game? The Colts defense. Or I guess offense too because they didn't score. But
Well, I think a lot of time when you're in such a big lead like that, you take, foot off the gas.
Yeah, you get complacent.
Yeah, and then one drive after another, you just can't just turn it on, and they're not that great of a team to just turn it on. So I think that's what happened. But the defense got tired. Minnesota got a strong offense, and then I think they just got they were just shocked how that happened too in the offense, and I think that's why having a great quarterback that can step up in the right moment helps, and I'm glad that he got benched this week. Jesus, can't even get a first down.
And then Kirk performance really helped in the playoffs. 30 points.
That was good.
At halftime, he had negative 0.4,
Did you
ends
see?
up with 32.
Do you see the four?
Oh, he was
main
my
players?
quarterback, huh?
Yeah, that's
Oh.
Do you see the 4 main players from Minnesota?
yeah. I saw
Halftime compared to full game. Dalvin Cook went from like I think 6 to 27. Kirk went from 0.5 to 30. Justin Jefferson went off too.
Yeah, he had like 4
Thielen
to
went from
30 or something.
0 to 12. And then Osborne had a great game too.
Yeah, he's going crazy.
Next game. So there was quite a few games. One of them that I know my dad and I reacted to was the Bengals Buccaneers game. If you couldn't tell by the jersey, he's a huge Brady fan, and I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan. So we were excited to watch each other play that one, or watch that game. And so, what's your reaction to the comeback after being down 17-3?
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't know. I actually didn't watch that game, so I didn't see anything. But I heard about it, and I don't know. I think who is it that was Joe Burrow did really well?
Yeah.
It wasn't the run game.
No,
Just
it was Jamar did pretty well as well.
Okay.
And also,
As expected. Yeah.
I don't know, the Buccaneers didn't look bad. They looked really good at the start. And it was kind of scary because I remember watching, and then the defense held Joe Burrow for two straight drives, and then the Buccaneers scored both drives. I was like, bro,
To start the game.
yeah, if it's like this, I don't even want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But then Joe Burrow, I told Dad, like, just wait.
Yeah.
Once Joe Burrow gets going, the defense cannot hold him.
Yeah.
Even though the Bucs defense is great. But then I have a follow-up for you. As a Tom Brady fan, is he still goated or should he call it quits?
Oh no, don't quit yet.
You can't end like this.
No. He has another season or two. No, really, with the right team, and I'm hoping that he's going to join, San Francisco.
Okay, my question
Back
was,
home.
What's next for him? So you think San
Yeah,
Francisco?
he has nothing to go home to either.
Yeah. So I mean, if you go to San Francisco with that defense, and all that weapon that they have over
Yeah,
there,
that'd be crazy.
yeah, they'll win the Super Bowl.
They'll be like heavy favorites, I think.
Yeah.
Especially coming out of the NFC.
But you never know. Not Patriots. Bucks have a chance this year. They're division leader right now.
Right.
So
Yeah, the
they're
NFC is
still
just
making
weaker
it.
though in general.
Yeah.
I think if you place him in the AFC with this team right now, the way they're performing, I don't think.
I just feel that they have a locker room issue between the players or something that,
I don't know.
It's unknown.
Maybe it's just me, but I think a lot of their wins come from last minute drives.
Yeah.
Right.
That's when Brady's the best.
Yeah. And then the Cowboys Jaguars game. Weird one. Just quick question, like regarding this game, how good do you think Trevor Lawrence really is with Etienne, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones? Do you think they can be a contender, or you think it's just good performances here and there?
I don't think they're contenders just yet, but I think they have a bright future. Trevor Lawrence has shown, like, at the beginning of the year, he went on a really hot streak. He cooled down for a bit. Seems like he's getting hot again, which is a good time for it to happen. But I don't think he's at a consistent level that he needs to be at for them to be contenders.
Agreed. I think he's proving that he really is a lot better than people thought. Because I think people wrote him off last year.
Yeah.
Didn't have a strong year, and then
Could have been coaching, though.
Huh?
They had coaching
yeah,
problem
true.
last
Urban Meyer now.
Yeah.
What do you
I
think?
agree with you guys.
Yeah. Zay Jones went crazy for me this weekend, like 30 fantasy points, and got me to the second round playoffs in one of my fantasy leagues. In a league where I really should not have moved on. Without him, I do not move on there. Last game that I want to go over, the Patriots versus the Raiders. This was the game where, Jacoby Myers throws that lateral and gets intercepted. Mac Jones misses the tackle. And my question to you is, I mean, obviously, I think we all know that the right decision is to go down and just take OT because you need a miracle. You're not going to score on that, right? What do you think about the New England's culture? All three, you saw Ramondre Stevenson, Jacoby Myers, and Mac Jones all take blame for that responsibility.
I only saw Jacoby. I didn't.
Yeah, Ramondre said it all started with him throwing a lateral first, and then Mac Jones says he should have been the one to make the tackle. It's not hard to tackle. It's not easy to tackle a 250-pound guy, right? As a quarterback,
And he's running at you. So.
yeah. And then Jacoby Myers says I think he reiterated. He's like, I promise you, it was just him going above and beyond, trying to make a play and be the hero. And they all took the blame for that, which Zach Wilson could never do, right? But what do you think? Does it say anything about New England's culture?
Yeah, I think it just speaks to how strong they are as a team, and just the personalities that they have on their team. Yeah, I don't know. tells you they have a great culture over there.
Really? You think they have a great culture because they're holding themselves accountable instead of blaming someone?
I mean,
It's better than Zach Wilson.
No.
But he did improve, though. He did improve.
Well, it was a lot. It wasn't even just that. Like Elijah Moore blaming, or not blaming, but not wanting to.
Yeah, they were blaming each other, trying to get out. Saying like, I think one question he was asked like, "How do you feel about the offense?" or something. He's like, "I don't know. I'm not getting the ball."
Yeah, because he gets
like
one
that.
target
so
a game or something.
Right.
I don't know. I like those interviews now that I'm hearing about it. I heard about Jacoby's. I was going to say that's really stand-up. I mean, it's obviously his fault, but it's really stand-up just to admit that.
No, I agree, but in terms of just the organization and the culture, it has gone down a lot.
Really?
I mean, when Brady was there, you wouldn't see, like, any of the players do this. If Belichick tells you your knee down, you knee down. Right?
The play was to knee and they ran it?
It was something like that, right?
Oh, I don't know. I think...
If you try to get it, if it's open, you go all the way. If not, just go down. I don't think that was the intention to,
Oh, yeah.
And then so that, and the last few games, you see the quarterback talking to the coach, right, or show his frustration as well.
But that actually helped him though, because if you saw after he was like yelling at Matt Patricia, who people don't think is a good coach, they started doing better.
Right, but in terms of culture, before that would never happen.
Yeah,
you would never see any players disrespect their coach.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So.
Oh, another one we just mentioned. I want to talk about Zach Wilson. We saw he was named starter last week over Mike White. I personally think Mike White's a much better quarterback. First question, who do you guys think is a better quarterback between the two of them?
I don't know. I haven't watched enough of their games to say.
I just think Zach Wilson's decision-making is just not it. Obviously, I don't think he's like super inaccurate, but I think Mike White is more... It's closer to a mediocre NFL quarterback.
I think Mike White is better.
And then, I guess, reaction to Zach Wilson's game as a starter. Do you think it was good enough to start again this week, or
who
they played Detroit and they came close, but they lost?
I'm gonna look at his stats. See how
that was because Mike White was injured, right? That's why he became a starter.
Yeah, but Mike White wanted to start, but he just couldn't get cleared.
He had 317, 2 touchdowns and a pick. That's pretty good. I liked his response afterwards. So someone asked him like, "Do you think you should start?" And then he just said that like it's not his decision and he's gonna like try his best to keep the spot, I think, or something like that.
Oh, they asked Mike White that?
No, they asked Zach
Wilson.
So it's a much better response. It seems like he's obviously learning like how to deal with media. Yeah.
PR taught him.
Yeah.
Yeah, took a couple lessons while he was gone. And then this is something I've always wanted to talk about. I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan. I don't know about you guys, but we've talked about this off camera. Justin Herbert versus Emmanuel Acho, I think you pronounce the last name. Calling Justin Herbert social media quarterback is probably the funniest thing to me. I'm not the biggest fan of that take. I think Justin Herbert's a very, very accurate quarterback. If I were to ask earlier, I would say he's underrated because of the fact that he's playing a lot of the year hurt. He has Keenan Allen out. He doesn't have a strong tight end there. He's always dropping the ball, right? And then
Mike Will was out. Mike Will was out.
Yep, Mike Williams was out. So, not that he has no weapons, but you put it all he really has is Austin Eckler to consistently count on, right? And Josh Palmer. But yes, he's able to make those plays that become highlight plays, but at the same time, I don't think that his losses correlate to him being a bad quarterback. And so, what do you guys think regarding? Is he a social media quarterback or?
No, he's a good quarterback.
Not agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's really good. Last year, or at the beginning of this year, I thought he was actually going to be like an MVP candidate. Unfortunately, their team hasn't been great, and he's had some off games, I'd say. But I think a lot of that is due to injury. And I think, did you hear what Acho just said about? Like he won't say anything about Tua and the Justin Herbert debate for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
like that.
I saw that. I saw. I think maybe a week and a half ago he printed out, or not printed out. He had a custom jersey made with Justin Herbert's number and then social media quarterback as a name, and then Herbert went and played very well.
Yeah.
So I was like,
he was.
I like it.
Yeah, didn't he apologize?
Yeah,
after the
he
game
made
or
a full
something?
apology. He had like a whole segment on it, which I thought was kind of funny and very stand-up of him as well.
I love the fact that obviously it's all for content, right? He's posting this on TikTok and social media like that. So everybody's roasting like, I think you're just a social media like commentator, like stuff like that. Like the worst takes just so you could be popular. Obviously, it could be true, but I thought that entire situation was funny. And then let's talk on Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers real quick. I mentioned how I think he has to have some of the best systems in the entire league because he cycled through Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, and now Brock Purdy, who are all
running backs as well.
Yeah, and they've all had different. They are not the same quarterback. They're very, very different, right? Trey Lance is very much a very mobile quarterback, where Jimmy Garoppolo isn't, and he's made it work, right? Mm-hmm. They're winning. They're legitimate contenders, in my opinion. How good do you guys think they are, and how far do you think? What's the furthest you think they can go?
I definitely think they have a chance to win it all, especially if Brock keeps managing the game like he is. They have weapons all over the place, and once they get Debo back, I think they're good. They have Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, CMC. It's just crazy. And the defense is also, they smother everyone.
So you think they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl?
I think they could. I don't know if they will. I think they could.
Yeah, it all depends on Brock at the end of the day, right?
Mm.
But
so I guess, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, going off that, you mentioned it's all Brock, right? Do you think their success right now is mainly Brock playing well, or more Kyle Shanahan's putting him in a good position?
Oh, Kyle Shanahan, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And,
and the defense.
Yeah, but you can't knock,
right.
He's not doing bad, and he's just getting carried. He's doing his part. He's making good throws. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, obviously, a lot of it is the system around him.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, if the defense gives up points and you're going to rely on Brock to get you back into the game, I don't know if I can count on him.
Their defense is very, very good, which is why
That's what I said.
They might have a chance. But I think even with the current state of the NFC, I'm taking the Vikings. I'm taking Detroit over them to go further. As far as, Brock Purdy is pretty new. Mm-hmm. He might not be used to it. All the pressure that comes with it. As far as the playoffs, right? I'm taking the Cowboys. Maybe not the Cowboys, but I'm taking Tom Brady, as hard as it is to say, in the playoffs. So I think maybe they go 1 or 2, 1 round in, 2 round in. And we'll see. I think a lot of it depends on matchups as well. And then, question before I ask the big one. I don't know if you remember Sean Payton. Mm-hmm. His name has been floating around there in the news a little bit. Do you think he should come back to the coaching scene? And if so, to what teams?
I think he should definitely come back. Mm-hmm. Great coach. He'll get a lot of respect from the player as well. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see him join the Charger to help Herbert out a little bit. I think they have a bad coach or whatever right now. And then either that or Denver.
Denver. Okay. Yeah, my first option is Denver. I think Nathaniel Hackett, I don't know how he will do as a head coach elsewhere, but I don't think he's working well with Russell Wilson. And knowing Sean Payton can make it work with, a ton of big names like Kamara, with Drew Brees, Michael Thomas. We have Russell Wilson, Cortland Sutton. We have Javonte Williams on the bench, right, when he comes back. And Latavius Murray's doing fine. So my opinion is it has to be an internal problem for Denver. And I think it starts with Nathaniel Hackett. So I'd love to see him in Denver. And then my second choice would be replacing Dennis Allen in New Orleans. I think if he goes back, that'd be really, really cool. Mm. But I don't see the options being.
So imagine if he comes back and he goes to your Denver team, and Denver still doesn't do well.
Then at that point, you think that would be
Yeah, I know that would be bad for Russell Wilson, huh?
If another coach comes in, right, and Russell Wilson can't perform, I think it's at that point you get 5 or 6. If you give it 5 or 6 games and nothing happens, one, it's Pete Carroll and not Russell Wilson, and two, that's $250 million to just go you at that point pay him and bring someone else in. I wanted to ask it later. Do you think Jacoby Brissett should be a starting quarterback? I think right now I'd rather take Jacoby Brissett than Russell Wilson. And it sucks that he's on the bench elsewhere. But sorry, what do you think about Sean Payton?
I actually don't know too much about Sean Payton, but I know just what his time with Drew Brees and Kamara and those guys. So they obviously did pretty well. But yeah, I don't know if he should come back or to what team.
Gotcha. And then real quick, who do you think is the best coach so far this season? I think I covered earlier in Underrated or Not. I covered 3 of the best ones.
Sirianni. Oh, I think Reed has been good. Like,
Oh.
obviously, he's good every year, but some of the offensive plays they run is just, like, so crazy you don't even think about.
The one like, with Kelsey grabbing the ball.
Yeah, and, like, they have tight ends running it in for touchdowns. They have, like, little read options in the end zone that just somehow work,
Yeah.
like, a lot of the time.
Andy Reid, right?
I think Andy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's the best, but I think he's up there for sure.
I think Kyle Shanahan for sure, hands down.
Yeah. I think
go to the 3 quarterbacks, and
yeah, that's a big point. I'm surprised you didn't say Belichick.
they don't respect Belichick, and I feel bad for him.
I think Sirianni or Shanahan, because Sirianni's really like messing with the defenses right now with RPOs, and
Yeah.
I don't like watching it, but he's doing well.
It works for them.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see this week how they do without Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but Garner's pretty good. So, Patrick Mahomes, I think we all love watching him.
Yeah.
Great quarterback. What really went wrong against the Chiefs? Against the Texans, because that should not have been that close, right? That should have been a 30-point blowout. You think they're just messing around?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think they're. Sometime when you match up with a team that is the worst in the NFL, you just play down to their level, and that happens the week before too, right? When Houston was playing Dallas.
And Dallas again against the Jaguars.
Yeah. So, but
The Jaguars are much better than Texans.
Yeah, that's very true.
the only
playing down the competition.
yeah the only team that I fear for Patrick Mahomes playing with is your Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Team,
because they have their
right?
number.
The
right?
Burrow, right?
If they match up,
I want to see Bills against them again.
So
that's what I think. The AFC is so fun to watch. Yeah. It's all offense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Bills have both.
Because I'm just very heavily offense-sided, but my favorite teams besides Denver and the Colts are just offense-heavy teams. It's
Chargers.
Yeah, they're there, but I think mainly for me it's the Bengals and the Bills.
Yeah.
And so if they match up, I'd be so sad. So I'd rather see go against Patrick Mahomes first.
Yeah.
But because I think people are starting to write off Josh Allen's season.
Yeah.
I don't really like it because I think
he had a couple pretty bad games,
but he's hurt.
Yeah, it might be his injury, but I don't know. He looked really good this past week, so I like that a lot.
So I have a question for you, Dad. And I want you to answer this as well, but I really wrote this for Dad. Do you think anybody can realistically stop Patrick Mahomes from winning? Besides, I guess you said the Bengals, right? That's who you're scared of. Can anybody stop them on their way to the Super Bowl?
Besides the Bengals?
Mm-hmm. Or in the Super Bowl, I guess, if you're going to say an NFC team.
I don't think so. They're just too strong. They're too strong.
They look good.
Patrick Mahomes is just too good.
You do?
Yeah, I don't know if I can say for certain that someone can stop them, but I want to see the Bills do it.
Yeah, I think in the AFC, it will be the Bills or the Bengals that can put up a fight against them. I don't think Miami's good enough.
No, I don't.
They're so overrated, right?
Their defense is just so bad. Patrick Mahomes is just going to eat them alive.
Yeah. And then at the start of the season, if you ask me, I'd say Baltimore.
Yeah.
But not anymore. Not even because Lamar's injured. I think his gameplay dipped a little bit.
It did, yeah.
Do you think there's a chance we see a rematch in the Super Bowl with San Francisco and Kansas City again?
San Francisco, Kansas City?
That
From
was
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I thought you meant last year. I was like,
No. Right?
Yeah, I think it could happen.
I think it could happen.
Jimmy G's on the IR, or is he out for the season?
I think they said he's pretty much done until maybe the
Deep.
closer end of postseason.
Yeah.
I want to say no, because I think
I don't want to see that game.
I think the Niners get stopped.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think there's a high chance the Chiefs can get there, but I think the Niners get stopped.
Yeah, I think
because Debo's hurt right now too.
Yeah, I think what Dad was saying earlier, how if you need to rely on Brock, it's not going to work out well, and I think they will need to do that in the playoffs. And the defense just clamps down because it's playoffs. But
Also, even though the system is good, if he has one off game in the playoffs, it's not a 7-game series like the NFL where the coaching can really make everything right.
Yeah.
One bad game can really ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm gonna say no to that question. And so that answers Dad's question earlier. If he thinks no one can stop them, right?
Mm-hmm.
As of this week, kind of slammed the mic. As of this week, who do you think is your favorite to win it all?
Chiefs.
Chiefs for you too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs. I want to say the Bengals, but
No way.
realistically, I think it's the Chiefs. Because I don't think NFC's not good enough. to stop them. Yeah, all right. And then we talked about our favorites to win it all. Now, who do you think's the favorite to win the MVP? And follow-up question, is Jalen Hurts your MVP favorite? Because for me, he is not.
Is he playing this week?
No.
For sure. You rule him out already?
I'm pretty sure.
I think that's going to hurt him.
One game?
Because it depends, I think, if they win or not. If they can beat the Cowboys without Jalen Hurts, it just shows you how much of a system it is.
Do you think, because you talked about the Cowboys playing down to the Jaguars, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the Cowboys are that good? I don't think they're that good.
I think their defense is started off really hot, and this past 2 weeks against the Texans, I guess the Jaguars are really good on offense as well, but they let up so many points, and I don't know.
Dude, Trayvon got smoked.
Did
on the Zay Jones 50-yard touchdown. It was just a double move.
That's what he always falls for that.
Yeah, because he's going for the interception.
Yeah. So it's like really give and take with him.
I don't know. I wanted to say going into the season, also my favorites were Josh Allen and Herbert.
Yeah.
But right now, Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I think he just overtook, like on the sports books and stuff, he just overtook him overtook Jalen.
Oh, really?
Because of the injury.
Oh, okay.
But
I remember Hurts was heavy favorite. And I would have faded that so fast because I don't think he's that good.
Who?
Jalen Hurts.
Oh.
Okay, and then I want to hop into our top 10 power rankings. I feel like after this week, they'll, for the most part, be pretty similar. But my first... actually, I want Dad to go first.
Oh, my top 10?
Yeah. See what I want to see... The reason I say I want to see Dad's first is Dad has, I feel like, is the most biased out of us.
Really?
I love a lot of players, right? So I like different teams. You're kind of biased too.
I was gonna say I think I'd probably be the most biased.
Okay, let's see Dad first and then
my top 10. Mm-hmm. So I have Kansas City is number 1, and then Buffalo, Cincinnati, San Francisco, Dallas, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Baltimore, Tennessee, and Charger.
I'm not gonna lie, a lot of that surprised me.
Yeah.
Really?
Dallas is up high.
I had Dallas pretty high too.
Baltimore is in there. Baltimore's not in there for me.
Yeah. I had Chiefs, Eagles, Bills. I have 49ers over Vikings. 49ers, and then I have Vikings over Bengals. But I think I want to switch that. So I want to go 49ers, Bengals, Vikings, Cowboys, Dolphins, Chargers, and then Lions.
I like that.
Shout out Lions.
Yeah. Do you want to say why you like the Lions?
Yeah, 2 of my roommates are from Michigan. We watch pretty much every Lions game. I'm an honorary Lions fan.
Love Lions too. Quick flex. He's a UMich student, so I've been trying to get this guy to go watch a Lions game because they're on a 7-game win streak.
Yeah, I was trying to get that Bills game for Thanksgiving.
That would be good.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Or even go watch the Bills play when they were the Lions weren't even playing.
Yeah.
Myself, I have the Chiefs, Bills, and then Bengals, Eagles for now, 49ers, Vikings, Chargers. That I feel like is my bias. Dolphins, Cowboys, and then the Lions. With an honorable mention to the Giants.
No.
I feel like they're underrated.
Did you notice I didn't put Tampa Bay?
Yeah. I was like that. I thought Tampa Bay was easy in there for you, but they're bottom 15 NFL team right now.
Yeah. I mean, they're ahead of the division, so you never know.
Yeah.
Football, it's one
top
game
15.
in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You never know.
True. And then I want to hop into fantasy football. So, as we mentioned, we're all in the same league. My dad just beat my brother, but Z does a lot of research on fantasy football, and he knows his stuff. So,
I haven't been recently, actually.
No,
not that.
No wonder you lost.
Yeah, I know. I got too complacent. No trades, nothing.
Reliable or unreliable? I don't know if Dad wants to be a part of this one. Do you know?
These players?
Yeah.
I know these players.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just, one word, you think they're reliable in fantasy-wise, not huge NFL things, or unreliable. So first one's Tyler Algier.
Unreliable. Yeah, I think he's in a 3-back committee, or maybe with 2. I don't know, but I just don't think he'll be getting 22 a game.
Yeah, he had 22.6 fantasy points last week. I think he's unreliable as well.
I agree. Unreliable.
No. Davis Mills.
Unreliable.
Unreliable. I think
unless you're in deep leagues, but
I think he's. I was about to say. I think so. He had 18.94 fantasy points this week. I think he's reliable in 2 quarterback leagues or 14 team leagues. Because if you're really stretching, and even then in 14 quarterback leagues, there's no bye weeks anymore. So I don't know if you really have to start him. But if you did have to start them with your QB being injured or some sort, I think he's fine. I think he looks more comfortable out there, and that's maybe stemming from recency bias with the Texans winning. But
Right, unreliable. Let's see what he can do against Tennessee this week.
the reason I would, if you have to start him this week, I would start him this week to test it out of all weeks. Obviously, it's playoffs for fantasy, so it's scary. But Tennessee has the worst pass defense. So this is where he will shine if he does. If he can't do anything against them, he can't do anything against anyone else. Mm-hmm. So this is the week to test it. And then KJ Osborne, we talked about his huge week. Unreliable.
Yep, unreliable.
I want to say unreliable as well. After a huge week, but
there's just too many targets over there being given to Jefferson, Hawk, Thielen in the red zone.
And then Cook too.
Yeah, so no.
Yeah, that's true. I would say unreliable as well. You say unreliable then?
Unreliable.
Yeah. And then, so Z and I have a couple wire pickups to aim for this week. And my wire pickup to aim for is Zay Jones. I feel like he should already be on a team, but he's really only rostered